Grand Theft Auto, one of the most famous, if not the most famous video game series in existence. But did you know that Rockstar might have stolen the idea from Grand Theft Auto from another developer who did it first? Join us today as we dive deep to see if Rockstar Games took the idea for Grand Theft Auto as we know it from the Driver series. I just realized that we are really close to 700,000 subscribers, so if you enjoy this kind of content, be sure to click subscribe, join the channel, and also give this video a thumbs up for the algorithm. I've got a surprise for you. If you do so, I'll wait. Thank you so much. Achievement unlocked. While I was busy preparing for my swimming debut in the November 1997 Olympic Games, DMA Design, on the contrary, was celebrating the release of Grand Theft Auto, an open-world, top-down 2D game with multiple levels and 3 cities to explore. Then, in the summer of 1999, man, it was a hot one that year, Reflections Interactive, known today as Ubisoft Reflections, released Driver, You Are the Wheelman, an open-world 3D game inspired by the 1970s hit show Starsky and Hutch. In the boots of John Tanner, you are an undercover getaway driver, traversing through the streets of 4 photorealistic cities based on New York City, San Francisco, Miami, and Los Angeles. With 7 different game modes to choose from, Driver truly catered to all players. Undoubtedly ahead of its time, Driver even featured a film director mode that allowed you to set up cameras and create cinematic driving shots. This game truly pushed the PlayStation to its limits. Receiving unanimous praise from the media, Driver was awarded a 9.7 out of 10 by IGN and described as being so good by a reviewer that I've completely been unavailable to my wife, and I pushed my kid off the PlayStation minutes before his bedtime so that I could play Driver. Sex? Forget about it. I've got some serious missions to complete. Fast forward 4 months, Grand Theft Auto 2 releases in October, and it's still top down. November of 2000 would bring gamers Driver 2, the anticipated sequel to Driver, extending upon the original game structure with 4 brand new cities based on Chicago, Havana, Cuba, Las Vegas, and Rio de Janeiro. Driver 2 was so advanced for its era that the game had to be released on 2 discs due to how long the story was and how advanced the cutscenes were.
I'll find you and kill you.
One of the biggest game changers that Driver 2 offered was the ability to get out of your vehicle and explore on foot or steal other rides. This amazing feature would unfortunately not be well received by fans though, due to the clunkiness of the physics. This game, like I said before, was truly pushing the PlayStation, its engine, its physics, its graphics, everything to the absolute limits. Opposed to its predecessor, Driver 2 was met with mixed reviews. Unlike the 9.7 out of 10 that IGN gave Driver, this time IGN described Driver 2 as the most disappointing game of 2000. And everything that should have made this game revolutionary is ultimately what led to the opposite happening, because it was truly pushing the PlayStation to its limits and it couldn't keep up. Enter Rockstar Games with their first ever open world 3D Grand Theft Auto game, Grand Theft Auto 3 in 2001. Rockstar took the concept of Driver and they did it better. Going on to become the best-selling game of 2001, the success of Grand Theft Auto 3 would lead to the establishing of Rockstar North and rocket the Grand Theft Auto series to new heights. So what's the difference between Driver and GTA at this point? Well, Grand Theft Auto ditched the photorealism of Driver for a more realistic but fictional Liberty City, which is transparently based on New York City. Driver may have done it first, but Grand Theft Auto did it better. Get out of the car, shoot up gangsters, throw grenades, and enact all sorts of thrilling crimes. The world was full and not empty like Driver. So what happened to Driver? Well, by this time, the series started to spin out. The next installment would release in June 2004 with the release of Driver 3. Described as an under-par game with a terrible story, terrible AI, poor on-foot controls, and awfully designed levels, Driver 3 had an unforgiving release. But the difference between Driver and Grand Theft Auto at this point is Grand Theft Auto is open world 3D. Driver is more or less trying to mimic a classic Hollywood car chase movie. I'm a bit biased though on Driver 3. One of the first games that I ever played on the PlayStation 2 was Driver 3, even before I played Grand Theft Auto. I still to this day own an original sealed copy of the game. But by this time in 2004, Rockstar had already released Vice City in 2002, and San Andreas would be releasing just a few months after in late 2004. Also at this time, in the mid-2000s, there were many GTA clones popping up. The Getaway series, Saints Row, True Crime, games that were great in their own respective ways, but overshadowed by Rockstar's success. As time went on though, there would be 2 more Driver games released, Driver Parallel Lines in 2006 and Driver San Francisco in 2011. But since then, we haven't really heard anything from the Driver series or John Tanner. While we could go back and forth on who did it first, there is something a bit different when it comes to Driver versus Grand Theft Auto, and it's actually a battle of the developers taking shots at one another. And well, this started with Rockstar Games in 2001 with the release of Grand Theft Auto 3. In the mission Two-Face Tanner, we are tasked with taking out an undercover cop, and well, like I mentioned with the Driver series, the main protagonist, his last name is Tanner, and he's an undercover cop. And to make it even worse, and to make matters worse, because of those clunky walking animations that led to so much critical acclaim for Driver 2, Tanner in GTA 3 has a female NPC walking and running animation, obviously poking fun at the horrible physics from Driver 2. Then in 2002, a year later with the release of GTA Vice City, there is a side mission called Autocide, where you are tasked with taking out 5 bank robbers. One of those bank robbers happens to be named Dick Tanner, poking fun at the name John Tanner. But that's not it. The other 4 targets in this mission are named Marcus Hammond, Franco Carter, and Charlie Dilson. These are references to Mark Hammond, Frank Carter, and Charlie Jolson from the Getaway series. And the last target that we take out is Nick Kong, who is parodying Nick Kang from True Crime, Streets of LA. So we know Rockstar truly has no filter when it comes to things like this. They do it bigger and they do it better, but the Driver series fired back in 2004 with the release of Driver 3. In this game, there are 3 cities. In these 3 cities are 10 secret characters who all look the same. You take them out and you can unlock something secret, but these characters are a parody of Tommy Vermicelli from GTA Vice City. This character is named Timmy Vermicelli. And, well, you can tell by the way he looks like Tommy Vermicelli. He's wearing a Hawaiian shirt, and, well, he has floaties or water wings on, making fun of the fact that Tommy Vermicelli cannot swim in Vice City. That was not enough, however. Driver 3 released only 4 months before GTA San Andreas, and Rockstar fired back on a whole nother level in the mission Mad Dog's Rhymes, where there is a secret cutscene. When you're sneaking through the mansion, you sneak past a couch, and, well, this is what you hear.
This sucks! I mean, how can Reflections mess up so bad? Tanner, you suck ass!
By this point, Rockstar is so successful that they're paying the press to say bad things about them so that people buy their games. And it doesn't get any more obvious when he says, "This sucks, how could Refractions mess up so bad? Tanner, you suck." And this is a horrible diss, as Driver 3, as I mentioned earlier, released, and it was very, very rocky. Well, Driver, you might have done it first, but Rockstar did it better. I think that answers the age-old debate of who did it first. But who do y'all think won the battle between Driver and Rockstar taking shots at one another in their games? I think that Driver did a good job with Timmy Vermicelli, but I'm eager to see what y'all think. Drop a like if y'all did enjoy, and be sure to subscribe. That way you never miss out.